If your Amazon KDP book isn't showing up in the search results or barely making sales, then this video will help you understand why. We're going to focus on your listing, which is the most important part for your success on Amazon. I'm going to go through multiple real listings from our community, show you how readers actually experience a book page, and point out the small changes that can make a huge difference in visibility and conversions. So this is going to be real examples, real fixes, and no fake promises, just what actually works. All right, so let's get right into it. And just quickly, in case you're new to this channel, Cleo and I have sold over 240,000 books between our different KDP accounts. And we have a free authors Facebook group with over 230,000 members in it. And with our self-publishing Titans tools, we have helped over 300,000 authors publish their books on Amazon. All right, so let's start by looking at the first listing and figure out what is going on here. So with the self-publishing Titans Chrome extension, we can see that they're currently not making any royalties and no sales. So let's figure out the very first things here. So the first few things that really stood out is one, the cover is unfortunately really not professional and good looking enough. And we'll go into more detail on that later. But there's definitely a lot of things we can do to improve this cover, which is definitely hurting conversion rate and sales. And looking at this title here, it is way too long. A title should never be longer than 2 lines. That would be my absolute maximum cutoff. So 3 is just way too long. And then the price here is $12.99, which is unusually high. So those are the first 3 things that really stuck out. So the title says Church Heroes Word Search. So here we have the next problem. So the only keyword that is being searched for on Amazon from your title is word search. And word search by itself is way too broad and you really have to niche down. When you type in word search, there's just way too many competitors. And we can see that here with our self-publishing Titans Chrome extension. In case you're not familiar with this, you can go to the Google Chrome store and type in self-publishing Titans, and it'll be the bottom extension here, which replaced the 2 prior extensions. So this is the all-in-one brand new Chrome extension. And here we can see that word search, it does have a high search volume, but it has 64,000 competitors for this keyword. So we really want to find something that has much less competition while still having decent monthly estimated search volumes. So this right here is not going to cut it because Church Heroes Word Search is just not a main keyword. And looking at the subtitle, it says, explore the lives and teachings that shaped Christianity, from early Christian leaders and thinkers to the church fathers, 1st to 6th centuries, theology at your table. So definitely way too long, as I've said before. And the other thing here is that we don't have any other kind of sideline keywords that people are searching for. I guess Christianity is fine, but other than that, there's just not much that people are searching for. No one is searching for thinkers or teachings or a theology at your table or church fathers. So it's kind of like a nice sounding title, but unfortunately with keywords that don't really add up too much value for the search algorithm. So that's one thing we can definitely improve upon. And then also the title, in terms of conversion rates, there's also things you can improve here. So one thing that we could have put in the title, since this is a word search book, is how many word searches it has and that it's Bible verses or these kind of things. There's much better keywords that we could have used in the subtitle. You can see here Bible verse, word search, opportunity of 9, demand of 7, large print, also opportunity of 9. So there's great keywords with the word Bible in it. So that could have either been your title or for sure your subtitle. So that's one thing that I would have definitely changed there. Now moving along to the cover here. The only thing that kind of looks nice on this cover is either this image here at the top, but it doesn't really communicate word search. And then the best thing about this cover is honestly just the word search picture here by itself. And the rest here, this wax stamp looks kind of random. It doesn't look real, it looks fake. And then the text in the wax stamp just looks kind of random. And then here, if we're looking here, we can see that it's cut off a little bit on the left side. And then we have just different kinds of fonts. So we have big and smaller fonts. 2025 is a larger font. Then here we have a white font. Then here we have a black font, orange font, and then large print in blue again. So it just feels really random. And then the lime green background also doesn't scream church to me or Christianity. So it just feels like we kind of puzzled together different pieces from different covers or different thoughts. But overall, it doesn't look as nice or as professional as it should, especially for a topic like this. So I'd really recommend finding something on Fiverr for $10 or $15 to create a nice word search for you, because the cover is the first thing they see when they search on Amazon for for a product. So they're going to decide between your title, your cover, and the price, whether or not they're going to click on your listing to find out more about it. So far the title and the cover are not convincing anybody. So definitely want to fix that. Moving along, it looks like we have an excellent, nice long description, which is great, but we have way too many bullet points. So this looks like it's about 15 bullet points. The kind of sweet spot, as I've said many times, is 5. So ideally you don't have less than 5 and you don't have more than 5. And the even more important thing is that your bullet points show up right at the top, because as we can see, the read more button is covering up all of these bullet points, and your bullet points are actually your most important part of your entire description. So by leaving that out, people can't see it and they're likely to either scroll past it or just click on the next book. So definitely wants to fix that. So looking at your A+ content, so here we have a huge mistake. So here we're showing that this is spiral bound. So that's a big no-no for KDP because we can't do spiral bound books. So if someone buys this thinking that they're getting a spiral bound book because of this image, and then they get a regular book, then they're definitely going to leave a bad review, probably ask for a refund, and that's just a big no-no. So here moving along, we kind of have a lot of text on this page, which is potentially fine. But then the most important part is the word search, and that's covered up. And the other thing that we could have done is actually outline some of these words so they can see what kind of words they might be looking for, and also making that much larger so it's easier to see and read. And then having so much text on the left side is just a bit overwhelming, slightly hard to read, especially the white text here. It kind of blends with the background. We're almost touching the black text here. So what I would do is get rid of all of this text and instead having more word search pages so a potential buyer can see exactly what the word searches look like. And then I think that'll be a much better improvement. And here you have a colored image, and I'm just wondering if you have a black and white printed book. And in case you do, then you should also make this black and white so someone doesn't expect a colored image, because if they do, and they buy a book and now it's black and white, then they can feel scammed or at least disappointed, and it also leads to a bad review. So I would definitely fix that. Having this section is totally fine, but it feels kind of random because it's not a word search kind of book. These are all different books. So since we have a word search book, I would probably focus more on word search related books, since that's what a buyer is looking for. So if they go to your listing looking for a word search book and now they see regular books about Catholics, then that's not the buyer's intent that they had. So this is not going to help with more conversion rates versus them buying other books. So for this niche, since we are targeting word search, I would have more word search here. And then moving along, let's look at your categories. Those are really important because Amazon does use them to understand your book and also rank your book. So here it says Christian Saints is kind of okay, but not really, because this is actually an activity book and not a book about saints necessarily. So if Amazon thinks this is just about Christian saints and not a word search, they might not rank you for word search. And then here we do have word search and word games, so those are really relevant. I would see if you can find a more suitable activity book or puzzle book category, just so it's all consistent. Moving along, I like that you have a nice profile picture, nice and clear, and we have a description. So this part you did well, and no reviews. So that's one thing we also want to fix for sure. And if you're not sure how to get reviews, you can check out the Self-Publishing Titans Advanced Reader Copy service, or any other alternative that you prefer, whatever is best for your needs. So that would be my feedback for you. And since this was published in July, I would probably unpublish this just so you can fix your title, fix your cover, improve your description with the bullet points at the top, then fix the A+ content, and I think you'll have much better results with that. And then I would also, at least during launch, have a lower price, maybe $9.99 or $8.99 or something like that. That would also already help you get higher click-through rates. So the next book here is a coloring book, and this book unfortunately has never gotten a single sale, which is why it says rank not provided by Amazon. So really unfortunate. So let's see why this book has not sold in the last few weeks. So we'll start off by looking at the title. So Paws, Claws, and Jobs. So I'm not too familiar with cartoons and stuff like that, but just a red flag while reading that is wondering if this is some kind of cartoon or branded names. And if that is, I would definitely right away unpublish your book. I would upload a just solid gray cover, replacing this one, delete your description, delete your 7 backend keywords. You really want to just make your book kind of disappear as much as you can. Unfortunately, you can't delete books. The best thing is you can do is unpublish and just delete your description, update your cover to something blank. But if this is just a creative wording, then that's okay. But then the next biggest problem here is that your title and subtitle is really, really short and also inconsistent. So here we have all caps, and then here we just have the capitalized words, which is the correct way of doing it. This is definitely not going to get a high click-through rate with this kind of shortness, and having it all caps and not all caps, it just feels weird and it's not correct. And then the biggest thing besides these points is that we don't have any long tail keywords that you're trying to target. So if this is what you're targeting and that's a brand, then that's a big no-no. But hoping this is just random words, then the only keyword we have is coloring book, which is way too competitive. So you want to really, really niche down. Animal coloring book would be niching down slightly compared to coloring book, but animal coloring book most likely is also a bit too competitive. But you can just type in animal coloring book here and other keywords and see what the Chrome extension is showing you. You can see the search volume, the competitors, the demand score and opportunity score, and then the side. But definitely want to do that. Looking at the cover, I like this image. The author name is really hard to read. It kind of blends in with the background. So I would fix that, or at least moving it down. That's probably a better way to having that instead of having it on the white tube here. And then the top just feels really random. So just this image looks kind of fun and nice, but then the top just makes the image feel like it was pasted onto this background. And then these colors here I don't really like. So the pastel reds, dark reds, then a medium blue, and then a pink color. Too many colors, and it also doesn't really stand out and pop or grab your attention. And it just feels inconsistent having that splash background with an actual image. So what I would do is use Canva, upload this square image, and there's an AI option where you can extend an image just by dragging it up. Really easy to do. It takes a few seconds, and then you can have a completed picture that kind of fits your entire cover. And then I would also drag it out to the edges so you don't have to have a gray background, which also just takes away from the image. And then I would have the title of the book just on this bookshelf, probably white text or some kind of fun color text that is bright and pops out. And I think that would be a nice improvement. Looking at the back cover here, I don't know if these are coloring elements, but it's kind of hard to tell. And then these images at the top also feel random compared to these ones on these sides. These ones could be coloring images, but then they're also not fully white. And then this one here almost looks like a book cover. So definitely not the best execution for a coloring book. So when it comes to low content books or medium content books like activity books, puzzle books, coloring books, you always want to take advantage of the back cover by showing full pages and examples of what the book is about. So here, this is not a clear execution of that, and I would fix that for sure. Looking at your description, it's good that you have 2 paragraphs, but what we're missing here is not having any bullet points, so that's a big missed opportunity. And then also, one nice thing you can always have at the very end is a simple call to action for someone to buy your book. That can never hurt, so I would also add that. Now moving along to your A+ content, I don't see any. So I would highly encourage you to have that. For coloring books, this is really, really important, where you want to showcase your best pages because buyers want to see them before deciding to buy a book or not. And then we don't have an author profile section here, so I would definitely add that. So all of those things together should really help you. If you want me to review your book, you can go to selfpublishingtitans.com/review and submit your book to me right here. And also for anybody new to Amazon KDP, we also have a lot of free training tools and resources, and you can find that on selfpublishingtitans.com/free. So this is just to help you out. And I do make these videos every single day, so please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.